covering sports for 30 years. It's one thing for an exhibition here, there, whatever, but you can't continue to be allowed to build a career without getting into the ring with fighters. And if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, Shannon.
Does ultimately boxing get damaged?
Well, I think so. But I think boxing damages itself left, right and centre. But I think the reputability and the credibility of some of these boxing sanctioning bodies is poor anyway.
Nobody can knock him for this. This is now business. This is business. For Jake Paul, absolutely crazy. Jake Paul is a domestic level professional fighter here in the UK.
Stephen A. Smith sharply criticizes the announcement, saying Jake Paul has never treated boxing with the seriousness it deserves. He argues that Jake built his career fighting exhibitions, older opponents, and people far beyond their competitive years. Smith says this pattern disrespects boxing, and the idea of Jake stepping in with Anthony Joshua shows how far the sport has drifted from real competition.
Continue to get away with stepping into the ring against strikers for the UFC, basketball players, unknown boxers.
Wrightson and Jordan raises major concerns about the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul matchup, saying it exposes deep problems in modern boxing. He argues that money, social media attention, and business deals are being prioritized over true sporting integrity. Jordan warns that when boxing becomes entertainment first and competition second, the sport risks losing the respect it earned over decades. He says using a world-class athlete like Joshua to boost someone with little real boxing experience weakens the sport's credibility. According to Jordan, turning a champion into a marketing tool for a crossover event harms the value of professional boxing and sets a dangerous example for the next generation of fighters.
Everything that's wrong with boxing, it's a money play, nothing wrong. I don't begrudge Anthony Joshua getting 50 million quid for an easy night's work. That's fantastic returns. Most people would take it. But from the boxing world, Jake Paul is now a professional fighter. Whether we categorise him as a YouTuber or not, he's licensed to fight, which means that the governing body should be suggesting that this is not a fight that possibly they should be looking to sanction.
Yeah.
But they will, because the sanctioning fees will be enormous. Anthony Joshua will not lose his legacy like some people are suggesting, because no one will remember it in 2 or 3 years' time. If he embarrasses himself in there, they'll remember it. If he goes in and knocks him out in 30 seconds flat, or turns it into a little bit more of a sort of Jake LaMotta raging bull, holding him up for a few rounds and then knocking him out, then people will forgive it. He'll get a big bag of money, which most people in the world would take, and move on. And then we'll see if he fights anybody meaningful in the year. I mean, it is like sport has become. And what I got my head around on Saturday night was the entertainment value of Conor Benn and Chris Eubank. The fighting of itself, I could be all pious about it, but the entertainment industry is so prevalent in sport now. This is entertainment. This is going to have hundreds of millions of people watching it. Of course. And Anthony Joshua gets paid, and Jake Paul hopefully gets flattened.
Simon, I know the money's there, but does ultimately boxing get damaged?
Well, I think so. But I think boxing damages itself left, right and centre. But I think the reputability and the credibility of some of these boxing sanctioning bodies is poor anyway. But I think it does get damaged.
Even if it's an exhibition fight, which it might well be.
Well, then what's the jeopardy in that? If it's an exhibition fight, which it shouldn't be, if it's a proper fight, then Jake Paul is going to get...
Johnny Nelson calls this matchup insane and extremely dangerous. He says this is not a playful crossover fight. It's a real bout with real consequences. Nelson admires Jake Paul's bravery, but questions whether it's smart to face a proven heavyweight champion like Joshua. While Jake has shown skill and confidence in past fights, Nelson stresses that none of his opponents come close to Joshua's level. He says Jake's courage is impressive, but also worrying, because the physical danger is huge. His reaction captures the mix of excitement, shock, and concern felt across the boxing world.
Because of Anthony Joshua's desire to be in the history books, to be a 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. To me, it shows me his desire. Pick up 50 million along the way. Nobody can knock him for this. This is now business. This is business. For Jake Paul, absolutely crazy. Jake Paul is a domestic level professional fighter here in the UK. Would he win a British title? No, I don't think so. So now they're putting this domestic level fight in with a former heavyweight 2-time champion of the world. The weight is 245. So I think last time Anthony Joshua weighed around that was when he boxed Usyk. That means he's got to be fight fit on point, because his last fight he was 18 stone. I think it was 254 against Danny Dubois. So now he basically saying you've got to get yourself in position, get yourself fit, and get yourself ready for fight. It's not tiddlywinks. This is a fight. It's not a push and a pull. So as long as it's not a push and a pull, and don't put me down and don't touch me in the build up to this fight. I remember when McGregor and Mayweather, they had this little side deal, don't touch me in the build up to this. If this is a real, legitimate fight, Jake Paul is absolutely crazy. If not crazy, he's super brave. And it'll be interesting to see.
Well, what do you think? Yeah, because you said that before when we spoke about it being a proper fight or not. And Eddie Hearn and Paul's promoter, Nakisa Badarin, have both said in the last couple of days it will be a proper fight. And now you've heard the details. 8 rounds, 3 minutes around, 10-ounce gloves. Do you believe it when they say that? It's going to be a proper fight?
I do believe it because AJ's involved. And I think AJ would struggle to he's going to take enough flack over this, but again, it's money talk. So I think AJ will struggle because it is an Owen situation. If he goes in there and Jake Paul lasts the distance, what does he tell you about AJ? Apart from he's just earned an extra 15 million quid. If he goes there and struggles with Jake Paul, then what do you say about AJ? Your heydays are well and truly over. If he goes in there and knocks him out, then I'll say that's to be expected. So the glory, there's probably not much glory in it, apart from the haters of Jake Paul to say, right, we've got rid of this kid. I think it's very brave of Jake Paul. So now the problem child has got to believe.
Jeff offers a grounded perspective, saying that in boxing, anything can happen. He explains that discipline, preparation, and the right mindset can sometimes narrow the gap between fighters with different experience levels. Jeff notes that Jake Paul is younger, which helps with speed, recovery, and stamina. But he admits Jake still lacks Joshua's technical skills and ring IQ. He praises Jake's work ethic, saying Jake has shown real dedication and improvement in training for tougher opponents. Jeff believes Jake has grown, but the challenge remains massive, and the difference in experience cannot be ignored.
Where Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, is, but I'm not going to say he's coming into his prime because he had some great wins earlier on in his career before he lost to Usyk twice. And by the way, when he did lose to Usyk, the last one was a split decision. It was a pretty close fight. So now this fight is matched, and I just want to look at the tail of the tape. Now, looking at the age difference, we've got 28 years old compared to 36 years old. So I guess the advantage there goes a little bit towards Jake Paul. 28-year-old is better than a 36-year-old. But that being said, we've got talking about experience and everything else, what comes with being 36 years old at Anthony Joshua's level. And then, like I mentioned, the heavyweights kind of seem to prime a little bit older. Now, come down to the height and the weight. This is the big one. 6'1" versus 6'6". 200 pounds versus 252 pounds. We got a 252 pounder in Anthony Joshua. The reach advantage is a lot, which we would expect. Amateur fights, we can see that Jake's only had one, where AJ's had 43, but 43 of them are including at the highest level, Olympic level. And yes, he won the Olympic bloody gold medal, if I don't need to remind you. Then the pro record, Jake Paul has had 13 fights, lost 1. AJ has had 28 fights and he's lost 4 with 25 KOs. And the one person that Jake Paul lost to was Tommy Fury. Now, can we compare Tommy Fury with Anthony Joshua? Not at all. It's like night and day. So now I'm going to talk about the rules of this fight, and I'll give you my prediction, which is going to shock a lot of people after this. So, what are the rules? The bout will take place at a heavyweight, obviously. It's going to be 8 3-minute rounds. You might...
Sonnen says Jake Paul's critics will finally get the answers they've been waiting for when he faces a real heavyweight. He believes this fight will expose whether Jake's success came from genuine skill or carefully selected opponents. Sonnen says this matchup will be a true reality check, showing exactly where Jake stands in professional boxing. Facing a world-class heavyweight means Jake will be judged not by casual viewers, but by experts, former champions, and serious analysts, according to Sonnen. This will raise the standards of crossover boxing and force people to judge fighters based on performance, not hyper-marketing.